Good evening and welcome to my daily Facebook Live. My name is Barry Selby. I'm going to start talking about that differently, yes. Okay, so my name is Barry Selby, and I guess I'll start with my introduction just to get things going. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert. I help strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business, and I'm a passionate champion for the divine feminine. This is part 3 in an ongoing series, apparently. It's growing that way anyway. By the way, this is Message from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart, number 193, which is one series, which is the longest series I'm doing. 193 of these. And today's topic is part 3, because apparently this is another series that's growing, on the title of What is Partnership? Because this is kind of like a prelude, that's a good word, a preview of an upcoming Facebook Live I'm going to be doing with a friend of mine named Erin, which we'll be doing on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can join us then for a talk on this conversation. But this is part 3. In case you're wondering, part 1 and part 2 are already out there on Facebook Live. You find those on, I think it was Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday broadcast I did for those. So today's topic is part 3, which is Honor the Differences. And I'm going to break down that a little bit more understanding. I did the first part 1 and part 2 more about finding purpose and relationship when a way it works for men and women differently, which is not a difference. But today I'm going to speak about some more stuff about honoring the differences. So let's dive in, shall we? Let's do it this way. I'm just searching through my catalog to go where to start with this. And truth is, a lot of times I just do that to occupy time until the spirit just comes through me, because sometimes stuff comes out of the left field. So we'll see how it goes. So first of all, John Gray was right. When he wrote Men from Mars, Women from Venus, he was pretty much right about how we are different. Now, physically, literally, we're not from different planets, although sometimes it feels like that. But the reality is that men and women, particularly in the masculine energy and the feminine energy, which is usually lined up with men and women, although it can sometimes switch, and also in gay couples it is in the relationship too, for the polarity. That's a whole other conversation. I'll get to another time, and I've done it before. All right, stay on track. Men and women are different. Alison Armstrong says that one of women's biggest mistakes is thinking that men are just hairy women. Very true. And in David Data's work, he talks about masculine and feminine polarity, and also we've studied with Warrior Sage, which are two of my favorite teachers, with Satya and Suzanne Raja. This is fundamental. It changed my life when I discovered, or I should say when I was made aware of this understanding of the polarity of masculine and feminine in a relationship. It changed my life. That was 10 years ago, and it's what put me on this path in the work I'm doing now. But the reality of that is that we have this bad habit of making assumptions about our partner because of the way we are. And that isn't going to work, because the reality is we are different. Now, this is true primarily in heterosexual relationships. Some of this may correspond in homosexual relationships, but that's not my expertise. But I'll speak to this as a heterosexual framework just for those people watching, because that's the way it is in this conversation, because men and women in this conversation are different. And how different is the kind of thing. So honoring the differences means this. The way women speak and the way men speak are very different. The way we see life is very different. But sometimes we have judgments against each other because we don't say things the same way, and we might sort of judge the other person going, if only you saw it the way I did, it would be so much easier. But then you wouldn't be attracted to them. I'm sorry to say that, but it wouldn't work that way. If you see life through the same lens all the time, you actually become too much of the same and the polarity is gone. So for sexual chemistry, it doesn't work either. So, there was a thread that was coming through, and if I didn't catch it as it goes by, it was a piece about the differences, honoring, and how we don't communicate and aren't articulating. Let's see, it will come back. I trust it will come back. So, I'll keep going on the road I'm going down. The mistake we make in thinking the other person will be like us it is a mistake, obviously. But also, it's going to limit your ability to really understand the other person. The freedom you have and the freedom you give your partner by being unattached to how they respond, how they act, so you can be free to be yourself, is a huge gift you can give them, and a gift you can give yourself. So this honoring the differences piece I'm talking about as this topic tonight is absolutely fundamentally a way of respecting each other. And for some of you, that's a new idea, respecting your partner. Sorry, what came through I wasn't going to say that was not public. But I will say this, that if you haven't been respecting your partners up to this point, you may need some counseling. And I'm being polite. Because respecting a partner should be high on your list if you want to be in a healthy relationship. So, back on topic. Sorry, just do a slight detour off the path. So, I want to stay clear with this. So, honoring the differences. There's a challenge we face, and I faced this myself in my past dating life before the last 10 years, where I didn't understand that women who I was dating I was attracted to because they were in their power, because they were doing the masculine thing in life, in business, in the world, and were basically, because they've been trained, and I've just been writing about this today because I've got a chapter in mind for a book next year, and I'm speaking about the sexual revolution of the 60s changed everything. That's part of the chapter. And discovering the fact that when the sexual revolution happened, for many women, they were freed up from the old paradigm, which was extremely limiting. Unfortunately, however, because of the way the feminist movement was programming or informing or inspiring the women, it was portraying the way to succeed for women was to copy the men. And for many women, their idea of success to be in the world was to fight for their rights, to work the same way men did. And in fact, very, very visually, this is true back in England at least, women were learning how to act like men. So they would burn their bras, cut their hair, put on suits, take off their makeup and go to work. And they'd act like men. And since then, since the 60s, this has been the way a lot of women have been. May not be dressed that way anymore, and women have become more feminine in the way they appear, but inside, when they're in work and in business, they're basically doing what men do. And unfortunately, because the business world has been set up for men, so women had to fit into that paradigm. And on a total sidebar, I'm developing some work for next year, which I don't know if it's going to work the way it's going to work, but I feel it's going to be about helping women own their feminine in business as well as in life and in love. So I know there's change to be made. So what's that got to do with this honoring piece? Funny things you ask. So in my dating life, before the last 10 years, I was drawn to women who I thought were very attractive, very powerful, very dynamic. But I didn't know they were in their masculines. I didn't understand the polarity at that point. It was outside my reference points. And so I'd be in a relationship, and as women would be driven to do things, and we would be very similar in some ways. But because of that combative stuff, because I was a nice guy, I would become subservient. I would step out of that role. The problem was, we weren't honoring the differences. We actually cross over into each other's roles, which is a mistaken approach. Now I look back in hindsight. The differences that we honor is to respect the masculine solidity and groundedness and the feminine flow and movement. Now, I talked about this a few days ago. It was yesterday. Recently. I talked about the difference between the masculine and feminine, and the reality of it is that we don't know that. For many people on the planet, we just think that, well, they just have different genitalia. That's it. It's like, it's more than that. The masculine and feminine polarity is a difference that makes things work amazingly. When you're in a healthy relationship with a partner, and this is true for gay and straight relationships, the polarity of masculine and feminine is what makes it work. It's what generates the chemistry. It's what creates the attraction and what makes the sex so good. The masculine and feminine polarity is, as in polarity, are opposites, like north and south poles of a magnet. So where a man is powerful in his stillness, a woman is powerful in her movement. A woman is full of life and vitality. The masculine energy is about death and emptiness. So opposites. And this is where the honoring comes in, because we are so opposite. Sometimes it's hard to see the other person's viewpoint. It's also hard to see how the other person can function, even because they're so different from us. The opportunity, your opportunity, is to honestly get to the place where you can be present with a partner who is opposite you in so many ways and honor that. Not try to fix it, not try to change it, and not try to do anything except honor who they are. And invite that from them to yourself, because it works both ways. So honoring the differences is a fundamental piece of healthy partnership. And I'm using the term partnership intentionally, by the way, just as a reminder at the beginning. One, because It's the difference from being a relationship, because being a relationship is easy. Being partnership is another level above, and it's another conversation, which I'm talking about now. Also, because, as I mentioned at the beginning, for those who are just joining, is that this will be a topic we'll be discussing on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. My friend Erin and I are going to do a dual broadcast about partnership. Things that she's learned, things that I've learned, and things we're cross-pollinating with our ideas about. So I'll invite you to join us. I'll be posting the link about that probably tomorrow, if not Wednesday morning. But I wanted to start this seed and putting these seeds out about this conversation about partnership, because it is a big topic, and it's becoming bigger nowadays because relationships have really fallen apart in so many ways. And I don't mean they've divorced, but I mean relationships aren't being treated with the level of respect, integrity, and honor that they really deserve, and that you deserve when you're in a relationship. So this nudge, this tip of the iceberg, as it were, about honoring the differences, goes much deeper. In my book, I cover a few of these in different parts, in different chapters in my book about the differences. But I want to just plant seeds with you now, so you have this idea to think about how you can be in how you are in different relationships, and if you're in a primary relationship, how you can honor the differences that you bring to the table. Because, as I said, Alison Armstrong says that women's biggest mistake is women thinking that men are hairy women. We're not, in case you hadn't realized that. But that's the assumption that women make energetically. It's not about the physical stuff. You obviously see us as men, we're different and so on. But so many women fall in the trap of thinking that we, as men, should operate, think, and respond the way that you do. Ain't going to happen. So honor that difference. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up, because I don't want to go into whole detail of that, because I talked about it in other places, and if you want to find out more about it, I'll talk about it again. But it is in my book, and you can find out about it from there. And you can also study with Alison Armstrong, who I love and recommend. Her work is amazing. You can go to understandmen.com to find out more about that. These broadcasts, by the way, which are my daily Facebook Lives, now up to 193, are all living on my website. Yes, they live on my website. If you go to barrysilver.com and you click on the video blog, you can watch all of them there any way you want. You can scan through them and find the ones you like. They're also on YouTube and on my business page, but that's the easiest place to find them, is on my website. These are my daily Facebook Lives, and I do put these out there to support and inspire and ideally evoke conversation. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, you can please do that below in the comments, and I'll get back to you after I sign off. And if you know anybody should watch this because it may change their life, hint, hint, please share it with them. And if you have any questions, let me put it this way. If you have any ideas and thoughts about what would be a good topic about partnership, or question about partnership, please message me, send me your thoughts. I would love to get some added context to play with, because it's always fun. And with that, I say have a great evening. Take care of yourselves, as always, because you deserve the level of care that you can give yourself. And I'll be back again tomorrow with number 194. Take care of yourself. Bye.